the great jungle of the south, you set out across the vast desert of Harad on your long journey north to Gondor. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Line Unbroken, a progression-style playthrough series of the Lord of the Rings, the card game. I'm playing the second scenario from the Haradrim cycle, Race Across Harad. So I did not take a mulligan on this hand, because while I am missing Light of Valinor for Glorfindel, otherwise I have willpower, I have card draw, I need a weapon for Foehammer obviously, but the Ancient Madam is there, which doesn't need a weapon. So in general I have important things. The willpower is kind of the most important thing, and I also, as mentioned, have card draw so I can find anything else that I really want. Over here, of course, I have Galdor of the Havens, so rather than taking a normal mulligan, I can discard cards from my hand and then draw additional cards. So Sneak Attack Gandalf, of course, is fantastic to start with. The Errand Rider is good. I mean, okay, so Minstrel effectively is kind of more card draw. I might ditch a Warden of Healing because I have 3 of them and it doesn't help me right at the start of the game. Other than that, I'm reluctant to get rid of any of this. Maybe ditch the Errand Rider as well, because again I have 3 of them and it doesn't help me right at the start. Although, well, I mean, it's decent to have early on. When you play with Galdor, you always kind of feel like you're wasting his response if you don't discard that many cards. But obviously sometimes you do still get decent opening hands. I only have 2 Ithilien trackers in the deck, and he can be helpful right from the start, cancelling threat. So maybe I just discard the Warden. Draw. Okay, Asphalon. And of course, gather information, because Thurindir set up search your deck for a side quest and add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. Octagon just helpfully puts your side quests on the table for you so you can pick which one you want. Though I suppose in some respects this could lead to extra work if you have multiple to choose from, and you have to shuffle the others back in before drawing your real initial hand. So, set River Harnan and 1 copy of Uruk Wargrider aside out of play. Each player takes control of a tamed Mumak. Remove each remaining tamed Mumak from the game. Create the Orcs area with a second quest deck consisting of stage 1C, 2C, 3C and 4C. Place Uruk Chieftain in the Orcs area. So, tamed Mumaks, which are immune to player card effects and damage from undefended attacks against you, must be assigned to tamed Mumak. If tamed Mumak leaves play, the controlling player is eliminated. I'm just going to put the others in the victory display. The Orcs area, I'm just going to put the Orcs quest cards underneath the regular ones. So, but I'm going to put the Orcs area just to the left of the staging area. There shouldn't ever be that many cards in it, so that should be fine. And that's everything on this side. Riding atop the Oliphants that you captured in the jungle, you set an easy pace. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck for 1 different location and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck, advance to stage 2A. So I'm definitely going to take a Desert Oasis because it's beneficial. And then yes, I think I want to take a Blistering Urg. X is the stage number of the main quest, so I'm about to advance to stage 2, but then it'll be 2, and obviously later in the game it'll be worse, going up to 3 and then 4. So, advanced stage 2A. During the night, you hear the howls of distant wargs drawing nearer. The riders of Mordor are scouring the sandy plains for you and the remnant of Carliel's tribe. You give the Mumak's reins a hard shake and quicken the pace. When revealed, choose the staging area or the Orcs area. Add the set-aside Uruk Warg Rider to the chosen area. So, I think I'm going to go with the staging area. Usually, I would definitely consider putting it in the Orcs area more normally, but since I have a sneak attack Gandalf, that makes a significant difference, I think. Just going to move through Harlan a bit across. Uruk Chieftain cannot take damage. Forced, after characters are committed to the quest, no more than 5 progress can be placed here this round. 10 progress instead if each tamed Mumak in play is committed to the quest. And on stage 1D, Uruk Chieftain cannot leave the Orcs area. Forced, at the end of the quest phase, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Place X progress on this stage, where X is the discarded card's threat plus the total threat in the Orcs area. So of course this is comparable to Flight of the Stormcaller, where the Stormcaller had its own separate area, and while we're at different stages, it's just a separate area, but once we are at the same stage, I can travel to locations in the Orcs area and engage enemies in the Orcs area, and they are treated as if they were in the staging area at that point, but not while we are at separate stages. But of course, in contrast to Flight of the Stormcaller, well, this is the reverse. The Orcs are chasing us, and we have to stay ahead of them. So, I believe that is it for setup effects. Control N. Let's begin the game. And okay. So, obviously I'm going to play We're Not Idle, and draw another card. Coney Trap, alright. Play only if you control a unique character with the Ranger trait and another unique character with the Warrior trait. I chose Erkenbrand partly for this reason, because he is a warrior, and after you engage an enemy, that enemy cannot attack you until the end of the round. So, obviously, I want to play Gather Information. I am not going to play the Errand Rider because I want to be able to sneak attack Gandalf. I could save for this Coney Trap, but it's probably better used for something other than just an Uruk Warg Rider. I could play the Athelian Tracker, which could reduce the threat in the staging area, or I could play Galadrim Minstrel. Well, yeah, so I suppose Asphalloth could actually reduce the threat in the staging area by clearing the Desert Oasis, but I kind of want to use the Desert Oasis for its response by travelling to it, because of course it's not just that it's healing, it's that it's healing on an encounter card, and the tamed Mumaks are immune to player card effects. So a Desert Oasis can heal the Mumaks, which of course take damage from undefended attacks. So that's potentially very helpful, and I want to keep it around. So I guess I will play Minstrel, search the top 5 cards of my deck for an event. Well, I have 4 zero-cost events to choose from, and I guess I will take a Deep Knowledge, then immediately play it. Dooms 2, and each deck draws 2 cards. Okay, and there's Light of Valinor. And then, of course, I'm saving for the sneak attack Gandalf. So, I guess I'll play the Blade of Gondolin. All the enemies in this quest are, well, no, not all, but most of the enemies in this quest are Orcs, so it's helpful. And of course the extra progress in a a race kind of handy. So obviously I could at this point play an ally, or I could go straight for Light of Valinor. Guess keeping Glorfindel ready for combat so he can help kill the Uruk Warg Rider is a decent idea. How much threat is currently in the staging area? 7. I will be sneak attacking Gandalf. So 4, 6, 8, 9, 13, 16. It's decent, and I do have the option of sending 1 or 2 Mumax. I'm going to be going to gather information. So, of course, I suppose, on the other hand, yeah, okay, so actually, I'm going to play Arwen, and then I'm just going to not quest with Glorfindel. So I only lose 1 willpower out of this, and Glorfindel is still ready for combat. So, as mentioned, sneak attack Gandalf. Let's see, do I want to drop my threat or draw cards? Probably draw cards, although I suppose I've got Galdor as an option if I can empty my hand, which might be difficult. Or of course I could deal damage. That is an option actually, because I may well get other enemies. So sure, I'm just going to deal with damage and then quest to gather information. 4, 6, 8, 9, 13, 15, targeting Erkenbrand. So let's see, 15. I would have to reveal 4 threat or less for this to work out. 6 threat or less is a better chance. Now, of course, it's worth bearing in mind that after characters are committed to the quest, no more than 5 progress can be placed here this round, 10 progress instead of each tamed Muvak in players have committed to the quest. So if I want to make the maximum possible progress on the actual main quest, then I have to send both Mumax. But if I'm doing a side quest, it doesn't matter, it's just a question of willpower. So, yeah, I think the odds are pretty reasonable on this. So let's reveal. Pursuers from Mordor, doomed 2. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an orc enemy is discarded. Add that enemy to the orcs area. Okay. And an Uruk Pursuer. When revealed, add Uruk Pursuer to the orcs area. If the players are not at the same stage as the orcs, which we are not, Uruk Pursuer gains Surge. And another Desert Oasis. Okay, so I've added no threat to the staging area, only to the orcs area, which doesn't count against my questing because we are at different stages. Oh no, I've added 2 threat from the Desert Oasis, right. So that's fine, obviously. I have explored gather information. So that's +1 willpower for Thurindir for the rest of the game. And Steward of Gondor is the thing that I really want. Over here. It would have been Light of Valinor if I hadn't just drawn Light of Valinor. So as it is, maybe the Raiment of War for Erkenbrand. Maybe just a faint... Wait, no longer is also good. A Test of Will, actually. Could be really handy. I will take a Test of Will. And now, at the end of the quest phase, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Okay, so that's 2 threat, in addition to the 4, 6, 8 threat in the Orcs area, which means 10 progress goes on this stage. And the Orcs advance. So, let's... right, here we are. The Orcs quest cards are in the second quest deck. The Wargs have caught the scent and they race north with Orc riders on their backs. When revealed, if the players have already defeated Stage 2B, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an Orc enemy is discarded. Add that enemy to the Orcs area. The players have not already defeated Stage 2B, so this does nothing. But this is very much kind of how the quest is set out. It makes it a lot easier for the Orcs to catch up to you than for you to stay ahead of them. While the players are at Stage 3B, which we're not, Uruk Chieftain cannot leave the Orcs area. Forced at the end of the quest phase, return Uruk Chieftain to the Orcs area and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Place X progress on this stage, where X is the discarded card's threat plus the total threat in the Orcs area. If you are at Stage 2B when this stage is defeated, you lose the game. So that's the general thing. If the Orcs complete a stage before you complete the corresponding stage, then the Orcs have caught you and you lose. But they will generally make less progress while they're at the same stage as you, because you can travel to any locations in the Orcs area and engage the enemies. So, first they travel. I don't think I can really get away with exhausting characters. Oh, Gandalf is back in my hand. So we're going to have to go to the Blistering Erg. After it becomes the active location, each player assigns X damage among characters they control. So X is the stage number, so 2. I'm going to go 1, 2, and 1, 2. Now the encounter phase. I do not have to engage the Warg Rider. I do not have to engage the Uruk of Mordor. I could consider it, but just to get the threat out of the Orcs area, I have to engage the Uruk Pursuer. And I want the Uruk Pursuer to end up here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The player order is wrong for what I really want here, because I would like to get both of these enemies engaged with this deck, because the Uruk Pursuer, well actually I'm probably going to end up defending with my Tamed Mumak regardless, in which case it doesn't matter. Because the point is, Glorfindel and Legolas would be able to kill the Uruk of Mordor, the Tamed Mumak would be able to kill the Uruk Pursuer, so that would work out quite nicely. But obviously I can't do that, because if this like optionally engages the Uruk of Mordor, then the Pursuer will end up here. I guess I quested with the wrong Mumak, in retrospect. But let's just engage the Orc Pursuer here. And then at the end of the encounter phase, Orc Chieftain engages the player engaged with the most non-unique Orc enemies. So, shadow cards. Okay, 5 attack. Yeah, Orc Chieftain cannot take damage. That's just a thing. Basically, we can't kill the Chieftain until we get to stage 4. So, I have a defense from Erkenbrand and a defense from the Tamed Mumak. It's probably better to conserve Erkenbrand's hit points. So, he will defend against the Pursuer. Its threat is greater than the defending character's willpower, so that's plus 2 attack, up to 5. Erkenbrand is 4 defense, thanks to Arwen, so 1 damage. And I will defend against the Chieftain with my Mumak. Return attacking enemy to the staging area after this attack. Okay. So 3 damage. And goes to the staging area. Glorfindel and Legolas can attack and kill the Orc Pursuer, placing 3 progress, 2 for Legolas and 1 for the Blade of Gondolin. And I can exhaust the Blade of Gondolin to play Foe Hammer, drawing 3 cards. Okay. Discard the shadow card. And Control N. Okay. The Art Idol is immediately played. And I found Yorith. Okay, so over here... Oh, damn. Yeah, this doesn't work. So what I was thinking originally was, oh, I can play this Errand Rider and use him to send a resource to Legolas, who can then play a Galvan Archer, dealing 1 damage to the Orc Warg Rider in the staging area, which will then be dead. But of course this deck plans first, so that doesn't actually work. I can play Light of Valinor onto Glorfindel and save the other Spirit resource for a Test of Will, since I... Oh, hang on, no. I guess I should probably save to play the Archer next round. Over here, I can play Yorith, obviously. So I could play the Errand Rider. Yes, actually. So I want to have 2 resources on Erkenbrand next round for Steward of Gondor. But okay, actually, so the thing is here, I want to save a resource for Coney in a Trap, which means I can't play a 2-cost lore card, even though 1 might be useful. But that means that I only need 1 lore resource. So in fact, if I just backtrack to over here, I can play this Rivendell Blade onto Legolas. Over here, I can play the Errand Rider, transfer a resource from Galdor to Legolas, so next round he will have 2 resources, and then next round I can also use the Errand Rider to move a resource onto Erkenbrand, so he will have 2 resources to play Steward of Gondor, and it'll all be fine. So now obviously I'm going to the main quest, which limits how much progress I can make depending on how many Mumax I commit. The threat in the staging area. Is this actually here? Where did this blistering herb come from? It's probably supposed to be here, but I can't remember at what point it appeared. Yeah, actually, I'm. Was this a shadow card that I've? Okay. Ocareth discards Foe Hammer, discards Uruguay Rider. Oh, I accidentally revealed an encounter card. Because I hit Control E instead of Control N. Right. So I'm going to pretend that I don't know that's the card I'm about to reveal. So cards in the Orcs area do currently contribute their threat to the staging area because we're at the same stage. So 2, 4, 6, 9, 13 threat against me. I can quest for 2, 5, 6, 10, 13, 15. Probably going with both Mumax just for the extra willpower. Bringing me up to 19. This is not a particularly auspicious start. Revealing oh look, it's a blistering erg. And Fear of Mordor. Each ally in play gets -1 willpower attack and defense until the end of the round. That would lose me. That does include the Mumax. So it would lose me 4 willpower. I'm already making a not particularly impressive amount of progress. And that would bring it down to nothing. Oh jeez, hang on. This yeah, this is going to be a bit of a problem. Oh no, actually it's fine. So yeah, I think I really have to cancel that. Which means I'm making 4 progress. If both decks discard cards to boost Eowyn, then I can make 5 progress, which would mean I would be potentially able to advance next round. So let's discard a spare copy of Gandalf and a Westroad Traveller. So there we go. I explore this location. And now, okay, there is another blistering erg. There's also this desert oasis. Which could be, well, there are 2 desert oases, which could be worth considering. Yes, because I have to exhaust characters after the desert oasis becomes the active location, and I have spare characters right now. So I'm going to go there, exhausting Yareth and Glorfindel. Then I'll optionally engage this Uruk from... Oh, sorry. At the end of the quest phase, The Orc Chieftain returns to the Orcs area, and I discard the top card of the encounter deck, an Expanse of Harad. So that's for 6-8 progress that the Orcs make. Now, travel, encounter phase, I optionally engage this Orc of Mordor, and the Orc Chieftain automatically engages here, and I play Coney in a trap. After you engage an enemy, that enemy cannot attack you until the end of the round. The Orc Chieftain is not immune to player card effects. So, now I defend the Orc of Mordor with Erkenbrand. He's 4 defense thanks to Arwen, so he takes no damage. And Legolas can attack at ranged. He is 4 attack against Orcs and ignores 2 points of defense. So the Orc of Mordor is dead. And I place 3 progress. I do overspill onto the quest because it's after characters are committed to the quest. No more than 5 progress can be placed here this round. 10 progress instead if each tamed Mumak in play is committed to the quest. I did commit both Mumaks, and I did not make 10 progress, so I am still allowed to make more. And this, the Desert Oasis, while it's the active location, when it's explored, heal 4 damage from among characters in play. So I'm going to heal 3 damage from this Mumak and 1 from Erkenbrand. Discard this shadow card. Control N. Okay, so now I use the Errand Rider to transfer a resource to Erkenbrand so that he can play a Stew of Gondor onto Thurindir. And now, do I want more willpower or to get Asphalloth going? Because I could potentially avoid travelling to the Blistering Erg by just taking it out with Asphalloth in a couple of rounds. I think that's worth doing. The threat in the staging area is much more manageable now because this is about to be dead. So, and the Orc Chieftain didn't bounce up to the staging area from his shadow card, so I will only have these 2 locations, which is a much more manageable amount of threat. Play the Galvan Archer, dealing a point of damage to the Orc Warg Rider, which is dead. And I'll play Handmaiden. Since Arwen's over here, let's keep my questing allies over this way. And drop this deck's threat by 1. So, there is 4 threat in the staging area, and I quest for 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, 14, 17, 19, 21, revealing a Pursuer. Well, it's added to the Orcs area, rather than the regular staging area, but the players are at the same stage as the Orcs, so it does not gain Surge. There are a few effects like this which are worse when you're ahead of the Orcs, but once they've caught up, they're not as bad. It's another way that it makes it easier for the Orcs to catch up to you, but then they slow down, so it's harder for them to actually beat you. So, alright. When revealed, attach to an Orc enemy and return that enemy to the staging area. Limit 1 per enemy counts as a mount attachment with the text attacked enemy gets +2 with threat, attack, defense, and hit points. Forced when attached enemy leaves play, add Mordor Warg to the staging area. I will attach it to this Orc Pursuer, which technically was never in the staging area, but I'm pretty sure that's a ruling that you can return something to the staging area even if it was never in the staging area. And this is handy because it means that the Orc Pursuer is in the staging area, not the Orcs area, so it will not be increasing the amount of progress that the orcs make. Plus, if I advance, which I think I do, I've added 4 threat to the staging area, so I'm making 13 progress, but I can only make a maximum of 10. It means that I will still be able to deal with this Orc Pursuer. So I make my 10 progress and advance to stage 3. The Hounds of Mordor have caught your scent, and they close in on you from the south. There are 2 froms in that sentence, for no good reason. Even riding on the tall Mumakil, you are not safe from the barbed arrows of the Warg Riders. Your only hope is to reach the River Harnan before you are cut off. When revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards from the top until an orc enemy is discarded. Add that enemy to the orcs area. Alright. Now, it being in the orcs area does mean that I do not have to deal with it right now, though it does mean that the orcs make more progress. Well, I suppose it means that I probably don't have to deal with it right now. Orc Chieftain cannot take damage. Reveal an additional encounter card during the quest phase if Orc Chieftain is at stage 2D. Forced after characters are committed to the quest. No more than 5 progress can be placed here this round, 10 progress. Instead, if each tamed Mumakin player is committed to the quest. And all that being done, the end of the quest phase, the Orc Chieftain returns to the Orcs area, and I discard the top card of the encounter deck. It's a Treachery which has no threat, so for 6, I do not have to deal with the Orc of Mordor or the Orc Chieftain this round, because they are at a different stage to me. I will Asphalloth the Blistering Urg. And yeah, I guess I can travel to the Desert Oasis, exhausting Yarth and the Archer. And then engage this Orc Pursuer. So it's +2 from the Mortal Warg. So it's 5 attack. Because I could just take it undefended, and then as soon as I explore the Oasis, which Legolas will do for me, I could heal off 4 damage from the Mumak again. But on the other hand, I can just save that and defend with a 4 defense Erkenbrand. Okay, just 1 damage. So I kill the Orc Pursuer. The Mortal Warg returns to the staging area. I place 3 progress. Of course, this does have the forced effect about limiting how much progress you can place, but this stage was not in play when I committed characters to the quest. So currently there is no restriction on how much progress I can place on it. In fact, I can place 1 because that's all I have the ability to do. And I explore the Desert Oasis, so I can heal 4 damage from among characters in play. So I have 4 damage on heroes, so that's going to be the damage I heal. I don't think I have Foe Hammer. No. Okay. Control N. Okay. Another sneak attack. Right, so here I'm going to play this Ancient Matham and then use Asphalloth to explore the Blistering Egg in the staging area, so this deck can draw another 3 cards. Okay. Well, I'm going to exhaust the Errand Rider to transfer a resource from Galdor to Glorfindel, and then I think I will play the Unexpected Courage onto Erkenbrand. I had been thinking about the Student War Tank, but the draw's doing fine, as is the willpower, so I think I'll leave it. I might want to. I probably do want to save Gandalf for combat. And yeah, okay, I'm going to pay 2 for an Athelian Tracker and 2 for Robin Smallburrow. And that'll be it. I can save the Sneak Attack Gandalf for combat. As I said, there is 2 threat in the staging area. I can quest for cancelling the threat of the first enemy. 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 19, 21, 23. I have sent both Mumacs, so I can make up to 10 progress. And reveal Expanse of Harad. While the players are not at the same stage as the Orcs stage, Expanse of Harad gets +2 threat. Oh, and I'm going to be revealing an extra card because the Orc Chieftain is still back here. I have to bear this in mind. If the players are not at the same stage as the Orcs, add the total threat of each card in the Orcs area to the total threat in the staging area until the end of the phase. Okay. And doomed 2 discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an Orc enemy is discarded. Add that enemy to the Orcs area. So, doomed 2. And discarding cards. Okay. And of course, because of the previous treachery, all of these are counting their threat against my questing. So this is 4, 6, 10, 12, 14. So I am making 9 progress out of the 10 I possibly could. I'm going to discard Yorith to boost Eowyn by 1 willpower. And I make 10 progress. At the end of the quest phase, I discard the top card of the encounter deck. So that's 2, 4, 6, 10 additional progress on stage 2D. The Orcs have definitely caught up to me. But of course they don't get to overspill, so that's the thing. The Orcs and their mounts move with great speed across the sandy waste. They can smell their prey on the air as they narrow the distance between them. When revealed, if the players have already defeated stage 3B, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an Orc enemy is discarded, add that enemy to the Orcs area. I have not completed stage 3B. While the players are at stage 4B, which we're not yet, Uruk Chieftain cannot leave the Orcs area, and each enemy at this stage gets +1 threat. Forced at the end of the quest phase, return Uruk Chieftain to the Orcs area and discard the top card of the encounter deck. Place X progress on this stage, where X is the discarded card threat plus the total threat in the Orcs area. If you are at stage 3B, when this stage is defeated, you lose the game. So, Expanse of Harad will raise my threat. That's fine. Okay, so I have to engage all of these enemies. Of course I can potentially just kill something with Gandalf. That might be a pretty good idea. Okay, Glorfindel is not ranged. I have to bear that in mind. So probably Glorfindel plus the archer can kill either the Mordor Warg or the Uruk Pursuer. Legolas can kill anything. Erkenbrand can defend twice. I can defend with Gandalf. So yeah, I'm probably killing something with Gandalf. rather than dropping my threat. I mean, I could also take an undefended on a Mumak. That is also an option. But I think it should be fine. So, that being the case, it doesn't matter that much. So I guess if I do optional engagements like that, and then I get this, and then the Orc Chieftain comes at the end of the encounter phase. This is the wrong order. This deck is first player. Oh, yes, no, that's right, because the Orc of Mordor will only engage this deck, because this deck is only at 34 threat. So it does happen the way I want it. So now, sneak attack Gandalf. As noted, I could drop my threat, though. I mean, I have one more sneak attack and the ability to just hardcast Gandalf if I really want that throw reduction later. Whereas conserving the hit points on my tamed Mumaks. On the other hand, the only way the Mumaks are going to take damage is from undefended attacks. So maybe I should take the opportunity now when the undefended attack would be for 2, which is almost the weakest it could possibly be, and potentially save it later. Sort of, because if I've reduced my threat, I can avoid engaging enemies later, and thus avoid attacks that would cause inconvenient damage to my Mumaks, is the theory. So I'll drop my threat. And now my hand is empty, so I can trigger Galdor to draw 6. Okay. And Daron's Runes, discarding Asphalloth. So, this is undefended. Exhaust a character you control. Okay, that's annoying, but two damage to the Mumak. Gandalf will defend against the Chieftain. If you are not at the same stage, we are at the same stage. So that's just 1 damage. And now Durkenbrand defends. We are at the same stage as the Orcs. Exhaust a character you control. Okay. So I guess Glorfindel will attack the Warg and do 1 damage. And Legolas will kill the Orc of Mordor and place 3 progress. Okay. I have the option of the additional deep knowledge, but I'm not sure that I want to use it. Control N, moving into a new round. Okay, that Remnant of War is nice to see. So I definitely want to be able to play Gildor's Council. I have no use for my leadership resource right now. Being able to play Conino Trap, well, actually probably not relevant, because I'm probably going to advance to stage 4, so I will not have to engage the Orc Chieftain, which is what I really want to use Conino Trap on, because he's the most dangerous enemy. So I could transfer Erkenbrand's resource to a lore hero and play one of these allies in addition to the Gildor's Council. On the other hand, I might have use for it over here. I definitely want to play the Raiment of War. And then I probably just play Galadriel's Handmaiden. So I guess that's fine. And I don't need an extra resource for anything. Alright. In that case, do I want Quick Beam or the Minstrel? I think well, actually, the extra attack might be relevant more than the extra willpower. Whereas the point of playing the Minstrel instead would be to get another event, which might well be, say, another Daemon's Runes, or another Gildor's Council. But I think having enough attack in case I get too many more enemies is going to be relevant. And over here, I'm playing the Raiment of War onto Erkenbrand, of course. So factoring in Arwen, he is now 5 defense and 3 attack if it comes up, and 6 hit points. And then I play Galadriel's Handmaiden, and this deck will drop its own threat by 1. There is no threat in the staging area, and I can play Gildor's Council. Definitely want to send both of my Mumacs on the quest so I can make up to 10 progress. And 2, 5. Oh, I've probably forgotten the Athelian Tracker at some point, but my questing has been fine, so it doesn't matter. So 2, 4, 7, 8, 10, 14, 17, 21, 23. Okay. And I'm only revealing 1 card. Yeah, that's seems good. That's probably okay at this point. I will lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 willpower, but that's it. Still questing for 16. So I make the required 10 progress here, and I advance to stage 4. You can see the river on the horizon. Your pursuers won't dare to cross the water where it's deep, but the large Mumakil can manage easily, if only you can reach the river in time. When revealed, add River Harnan to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards from the top until an orc enemy is discarded. Add that enemy to the orcs area. So, shuffle into the encounter deck, and okay, it is a Wild Rider. Forced after characters are committed to the quest, no more than 5 progress, 10 of each 10 Mumak, and players committed to the quest. Forced after an enemy attacks and destroys a character, place 1 progress on the Orcs stage. If you defeat the stage, you have escaped the Orcs and you win the game. And the River Harnan is immune to player card effects. The players cannot travel here unless there is at least 20 progress on stage 4B. Travel reveal 1 encounter card per player. Stage 4B cannot be defeated while River Harnan is in play. So I have to make the 20 progress, then travel to the River Harnan and explore it. So now the players are at stage 4B. which means that each enemy at the Orcs stage gets +1 threat, and of course now the Orc Chieftain goes back to the Orcs area. Each enemy at this stage, which does include the Orc Chieftain himself, so that's 5, 9, and the discarded card is another 5. So that's 14 progress for the Orcs. I cannot travel. Deal shadow cards. Erkenbrand defends. That's fine. Erkenbrand defends. Raise your threat by 1. I mean, I could cancel it, but it's not really a very significant shadow effect. Now, Legolas can kill the Orc Pursuer, and again, there's no restriction on me placing progress here, because I was not at this stage when I committed characters to the quest. I was at this stage, and Glorfindel can kill off the Warg. Control N, new round. Exhausted Steward of Gondor over here. I've found a foe hammer. At this point, the willpower is decidedly superfluous, but I'm going to play the Minstrel anyway. Well, not Minstrel, Handmaiden. I guess now I play the Minstrel, and I will take... Should I take the Sneak Attack or the Gildor's Council, actually? Both would be very nice. I'm going to take the Sneak Attack and then use it to draw cards, I think. Oh yeah, this way I'm also saving the resource for Coney the Trap. So, there is 4 threat in the staging area. So I can quest for 2, 4, 6, canceling the first enemy, 8, 11, 13, 17, 20, 22, 28. That's probably overkill. Hold back Galdor, because he has some attack, which might be relevant. 26 versus 4, I can make at most 10 progress. And reveal Towering Dunes. Whilst in the staging area, progress cannot be placed on locations in the staging area not named Towering Dunes. And Towering Dunes again. Okay, 6 threat added for a total of 10, so I do make 10 progress on the quest. I'll use Asphalloth on one of the Towering Dunes, and at the end of the quest phase, Orcs, that is no threat, but this is 9, so the Orcs have advanced. The Harman cuts a line across the horizon, and the Wargs race to reach its shore ahead of their prey. Their Orc riders urge them on with shouts and savage kicks. If they let their quarry cross the river, they will not be able to pursue, so they set a frenzied pace and tear across the sand. Uruk Chieftain cannot take damage while River Harnan is in the staging area. Forced at the end of the quest phase, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Place X progress on this stage where X is the discarded card's threat plus the total threat of each engaged enemy. If the Orcs defeat this stage, the Orcs have caught you and you lose the game. So a slight change now, which does mean the Orc Chieftain stops bouncing back to the Orcs area, which means less threat for me to deal with when questing. Not that that's particularly an issue, but the threat of engaged enemies now counts, which mostly means the Chieftain, but if I was not able to kill everything else, then it would mean everything else as well. So I guess I really need to clear these out, so I'll travel to the Towering Dunes, which doesn't have progress, revealing another Towering Dunes. Okay, that was kind of a waste. And then engage the Warg Rider. Your Chieftain will also engage. Play Coney in a trap, so the Chieftain will not attack me. And yeah, I'm going to sneak attack Gandalf, draw cards. Okay. Well, no, I may as well defend with Gandalf, since I have sneak attacked him, even though I don't really need him. I am at the same stage, so that's fine. I can very easily kill the Warg Rider. Placing 3 progress with Legolas and the Blade of Gondolin. And play Foehammer to draw 3 more cards. I can't damage the Uruk Chieftain because the Rohanan is in the staging area. Gandalf returns to my hand at the end of the combat phase. Control N. This has all gone very well. Okay. So I'm thinking I just hardcast Gandalf. Yeah, order of planning is... Actually, I suppose I can save hardcasting Gandalf until next round, so I'll play Warden of Healing and play the second Errand Rider. Then over here I can put an Ancient Matham on these Towering Dunes. I could put both Ancient Mathams on those Towering Dunes. I don't think I really need the extra willpower, so yeah, sure. And then as for them, which means that this deck gets to draw 6 cards. And there is a Gildor's Council, so I will not be using my Errand Riders. There is 7 threat in the staging area. Play Gildor's Council. Quest 2, 4, 8, 14, 17, 19, 21, 23, 26 seems reasonable. Find water. Your companions grow weary from thirst. They need water to drink. Characters cannot be readied by player card effects. Okay. Well, that's a thing. But that's the only card I reveal, so I make 19 progress, but actually less than that. But I now have 10 progress. Well, sorry, I now have 20 progress on the fort of Harnan, so I can travel to the River Harnan. But at the end of the quest phase, I discard the top card of the encounter deck. So that's 2 threat added to the 4 threat of the engaged Orc Chieftain. Not particularly concerned about them catching up anytime soon. I can travel to the River Harnan, which means I have to reveal 1 encounter card per player. Okay, so all my allies get reduced stats. That's not so much of an issue at this point. And if the players are not at the same stage we are, if the players are at the same stage as the orcs, each enemy gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. Well, I really don't care about that in the travel phase. So, okay. The Orc Chieftain, technically? No, I was going to say oh yes, because the Orc Chieftain is unique. So technically I could move the Orc Chieftain if I wanted to. And actually I'm going to... Though, well, actually, I can kill the Orc Chieftain now. So, does it even matter? Not really. But move him anyway. So what I was thinking was, by moving the Orc Chieftain, I could potentially move him back next round and play Coney in a trap, because he would have engaged me again. In fact, it's irrelevant because next round he'll be dead. But anyway, okay, so Erkenbrand defends. He is 5 defense. I am at the same stage as the orcs, so that does nothing. Attack for 3, 7, ignoring 2 points of defense. And the Orc Chieftain is destroyed. River Harnan is immune to player card effects, so I can't place progress with Legolas. I can heal Quick Beam and Arwen. Oh, technically, my Unexpected Courage did not work because of Find Water. Control M. And okay. So I think this deck is not playing anything. Over here. Suited Gondor. Oh yeah, I haven't got Gildor's Council. I really should do that. But, well, it probably won't matter. So, paying 5 for Gandalf and dropping my threat by 5. So yeah, just to walk you through it, the safer option probably would be to play Gildor's Council, and because this would be if I didn't care about Skull, which really I don't, but also it would be making it more likely that I win when I'm pretty much certain to win. So theoretically, what I could do is I could have the Guildhall's Council. I could also play this Steward of Orthanc, which actually I'm going to play the Steward of Orthanc anyway, just because he's more willpower. But then when we get into the quest phase, I play this Elrond's Council, drop my threat by 3, get an extra point of willpower. I could trigger the Steward of Orthanc when I play an event, give it Doomed 1 to draw a card. And you can't trigger multiple Stewards of Orthanc in the same round, but that's fine. And so then if I drew a Test of Will, it would make things safer. And obviously Guildhall's Council would also make things safer because I would only be revealing 1 card. But that's kind of superfluous. What I am going to do is I'm going to play Backtrack. Play only if the main quest has no keywords. Action, remove X progress from the main quest to place X progress on the location in the staging area. So I was actually thinking of removing 4 progress, but since I have Asphalloth as well, I could just do 2 and then use Asphalloth. Because of course, I could remove the 4 progress and then I wouldn't have enough to complete the quest, but then I would just make it back on top of what I get exploring the River Harnan. Yeah, so with that being the case, I still have enough progress. I guess I'll go to find water. Questing 4, 6, 9, 11, 13, 17, 20, 22, 30 against an empty staging area. Revealing Sandstorm. Each player either discards their hand or assigns X damage among characters they control. X is the number of cards in their hand. Okay. As noted, I'm about to win the game, so I don't really need my hands anymore. Hashtag out of context quotes. And each player exhausts a character that they control and deals 1 damage to that character. Well, I guess. Actually, no, I'm just going to exhaust a Mumak. Keep everything in play. Okay. That added no threat to the staging area, so I'm still questing for 30 against 0. Which I think it's thorny because it's sort of simultaneous timing. I don't know if I technically get to explore the side quest before I win the game, or if I just explore the River Harnan and then me winning the game interrupts placing of progress, which would cause me to also explore the side quest. It only matters for the purposes of score, which, as I mentioned, not that bothered about. So if I'm allowed to also explore the side quest, then my total score is actually 120, assuming that everything is correct, which it's possible that it's not. No, actually, no, that looks fine. But there are some cards in Octagon which don't register their victory points properly, but again, it only matters for calculating score, which is not that big a deal. So that's Race Across Harad. It's a pretty fun quest. Yeah, I very much like the balance of it, the way that, as I mentioned, it's a lot easier for the orcs to catch up to you than it is for them to actually complete their stage when you're at the same stage, because you can take everything out of the orcs area except for the orc chieftain bouncing back there every quest phase, and you can, and there are various things which are just less punishing when you are at the same stage as the orcs. So yeah, it really pushes the orcs forwards when they're behind. Basically, it's rubber banding, actually, as in racing games. When the orcs are behind, they go faster, but once they catch up, it's much more even. So, had it come up, obviously, I was a round away from winning when I revealed Find Water, but if I hadn't been, I could, if I wanted, have taken the time out to explore this side quest, and the orcs would not have won as a result. I mean, just hypothetically, discarding a card, okay, X is the state. Well, you discard the card, so X is undefined because it's in the discard pile, so it's 0. The orcs would have made no additional progress. Or, I guess, if the River Harnan was still in the staging area, the Uruk Chieftain would still be alive, so they would have made 4 progress. At which point, it would still be impossible if I killed all the other enemies for the orcs to then make more than 9 progress the following round, and so I could still take another 2 rounds to complete the quest, whereas obviously when they're behind you get these effects like each enemy gets +1 threat, reveal an additional encounter card, and you have the pursuers that go to the orcs area, the Harad roads which go to the orcs area. I think we only saw one discarded, well, probably as a shadow card at some point. Yeah, goes to the orcs area with 5 threat. So yes, it's very nicely balanced. So, if you enjoyed this, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for